Hello friends, Tom Downey here for the San Francisco 49ers preseason profile. We'll start things off with some key additions, and there were three main ones for San Francisco. On the offensive line, Weston Richburg comes in. He'll be a huge addition. Richard Sherman, if he's healthy, could be a #1 cornerback. And yeah, SF probably overpaid for Jerick McKinnon, but he should thrive under Kyle Shanahan. The draft, I didn't hate it, but I didn't really love it either. McGlinchey and Pettis, I think, will be good players at right tackle and wide receiver, respectively. I thought it was a little bit early for both those guys. I do love me some Fred Warner and Tavares Morris, some real upside, but I didn't truly love the way I think I could have loved it had they done what I wanted them to do. Loss-wise, I thought they kind of gave away Trent Brown, but they did draft McGlinchey, so, kind of bounces out. Carlos Hyde, Daniel Kilgore, who cares? They got better there. So not an elite offseason, but I still liked it for the 49ers. It's a B for me. It's a good offseason. They should be happy building off the momentum that they had last year after Jimmy Garoppolo played so well for them and won them so many games, 5 of them to be exact, after he took over the starting job. All in all, the draft kind of brings it down a little bit. Maybe some overpays for guys like McKinnon, but nothing to be ashamed about if you're the Niners fans. It is a good offseason and a good building block for them as well. Preseason schedule time. Week 1, the Dallas Cowboys. Week 2, Houston Texans. Apparently the Dallas swing this year for the 49ers. The Colts in Week 3 and the Chargers in Week 4. We'll zoom in on Week 3. That's the dress rehearsal game because, of course, that's one that matters the most. Niners versus the Colts. Andrew Luck versus Jimmy Garoppolo, assuming both do indeed play. Defense, I am curious how the secondary will shake out. And that brings us to our first training camp storyline. There's enough talent in this Niners secondary, but I'm very curious as to how it actually all balances out. Now, you will assume Sherman is your #1, and this one is your #2, and Tart will stay at strong safety. Colbert was a nice 7th-round find for the Niners at free safety. He could stay there, or you move to corner. He has some positional flex. I assume your nickel is Kawan Williams. It's almost the backups that interest me. Where does Jimmy Ward play? Is he a free safety? Is he a nickel? Or is he an outside corner? He can do all of it. How do the Niners make the most out of his talents? Tavares Moore, I thought was a free safety. San Francisco is playing him at cornerback, which I find very intriguing. The opposite is true for DJ Moore. I thought he was a nickel guy. He's getting work at free safety. Now, that positional flex and value there is very important. In reality, it's probably going to be Jimmy Ward as your first super DB off the bench. Then maybe it's DJ Reed, and then maybe you continue to groom Moore, who needs some more work behind them. Maybe Tavares McFadden somehow makes roster, even though he's pretty slow. There's some talent here, but I want to see how it all works out for the Niners. Speaking of talent, how it works out, how about wide receiver and tight end? Now, I like Peter Garcon when healthy. Marquise Goodwin thrive with Jimmy Garoppolo. And Trent Taylor could be a nice slot guy. George Kittle, I love him as a blocker, upside at tight end. But I know the Niners feel like they are in good shape at receiver with Robinson and Bourne and Bolden and Burgeon and all those guys and James on the bench. I feel like they're missing one guy. I would love Dez Bryant on this team. I don't think it's going to happen at this point, but I think Dez Bryant is exactly what this team needs. They need one more big-bodied guy to help out at receiver. You can, have Taylor be a backup at times. Goodwin can play. Garcon can play. Garcon's often hurt as well. I think they need one more guy, but San Francisco feels differently. Are they correct, or will they end up regretting it during the season? And then finally, no Niners discussion is done without talking about Jimmy Garoppolo, who we all think is the franchise savior, right? We're pretty sure he is. 67% completion percentage, 7 TDs, 5-0 last year. The record speaks for themselves, right? There are some reasons to be just a little bit concerned and have some pause with it. Namely, there were quite a few turnovers last year that either happened or should have happened. A lot of drop passes last year. The hype has built quickly around Jimmy G. I believe in him, but I want to see just a little bit bigger of a sample size before I declare him a top 5 NFL quarterback. I will not be surprised if it happens after this year, but I just want to pump the brakes ever so slightly. I think we're not quite there yet, but I think the future is bright for Jimmy G and the 49ers. Speaking of bright future, how about their 2018 schedule? A bit of a, not too difficult of a start, I should say. At Minnesota's a tough one. Home against Detroit. Some tough road games against KC and LA. Home against Arizona. Maybe they lose week 1, but they could rattle off 4 straight wins, quite frankly. Green Bay in week 6 on the road, Monday Night Football, that's a really tough one. Same with the Rams at home in week 7. Tough games there. At Arizona should balance it out there. So let's just say, cautiously, they win 5 games. That's a good start to their season. Oakland, Thursday Night Football, a short week there, week 9. I like it. Same with the Giants game and the Bucs in Seattle and Denver too. Look, the latter part of the schedule sets up really well for an NFC team for the 49ers. You play the Raiders, the Giants, the Bucs, Seattle twice, Denver, and the Bears. All of those teams finished either last year at the bottom or could finish this year at the bottom of their divisions. See, the Niners going to have the best start to the year. I think they're going to, this week 9 or week 16 stretch is going to be strong for them. They could go on a real run and generate some real hype entering the playoffs if that's the route that they choose to go. Maybe they don't win all 7 of those games, but they could definitely win 5 or 6 and get into the playoff discussion. Their odds to win the Super Bowl this year, plus 2,000. About right for them, just inside the top 10. I got them finishing second in the NFC West. Could they finish first? Absolutely. It wouldn't be a huge surprise to me. Finishing fourth last year actually means they get a little bit of an easier schedule than, say, the Rams or even the Seahawks, for example. I think they make the playoffs for sure. It's just a matter of whether or not they win the NFC West. They are a playoff team for me. I will caution everyone, though. We've been burned by the new it team in the past, be it the Raiders last year, for example. So I'll pump the brakes a little bit here, but I do think the Niners have what it takes to make a deep run in the playoffs, even though I think it's playoffs this year, maybe a Super Bowl down the road, not necessarily in 2018. Let me know who you guys think the Niners will finish in the NFC West, and follow us on Twitter @ChatSports for more NFL coverage.